Got my files dumped. See what's going on the field. See if I can get on there. Soundtrack of the chop.
Not fucking loud.
We'll see. Yeah, that's all I'm not allowed on the field. There's a sign. Only black people are allowed in the center of the field. So I'll look around. I would like to hear the speeches. Maybe I can get along the backside.
You too tall, nigga. You too tall, nigga.
The no filming thing is pretty interesting. The fact that there are people taking over the function of the police and they don't want to get filmed. There's an asymmetry in that. That's they're filming the kitchen over there, but it also said don't gender the staff. I got a couple extra planters right there now.
I was like, damn, too lit for TV. Goddamn, you mean?
A huge ring of white people, or not ring, square, rectangle. Technically, not sure if it's equal length on each side, but yeah, all around the whole thing. There's another shot of it over here. So it's yeah, big square of white people around the whole thing, and it's all black people are in the middle.
really complicated. But I'm happy to have a conversation afterwards with this gentleman because I may have some ideas. But we're about to get into this dance party, y'all. We're about to turn it up. Thank you for listening. My name is Nadia. You can just call me Naz. I'm here all evening. If you want to talk, I'm here to talk. We can talk on the road. We have generated off. And let's have it. I'm super excited to meet every single one of you. Thank you for being here. It's the first time I've seen this many white people in my life. Just call me Naz. It's my Instagram, my website, everything. Just call me Naz. NAS like the rapper. Shameless plug. Regan, we're ready. Let's go.
So they're gonna have a dance party? That's not what I expected. I think I'm going to take a loop around the square. It's over here. You know if it's cool to walk across here? Oh, okay. Trying to get the whole like square. Yeah.
Can you stop filming the protesters?
Oh, I was getting the whole square.
No, don't show any of their faces, please.
Why?
Because
Oh. I gotta get out of here. He's going to get people. That's what's next. So. Yeah, I'll go back up by the police station and kind of head out. Yeah, that's a weird paranoia. I've seen no news story about protesters getting arrested. It's the people who were like setting police cars on fire that were getting arrested, which are the rioters. It seems like the everyone's kind of on the same page, calling out the people doing harm as rioters, as being a separate group. But huh. Yeah, we go around that side too. Would have gone that side, but it seemed like it was going to be an issue. If that other guy like went and got other people.
God bless you. Take care of my lady, all right?
Stop by here one more time. This is getting hard to film here. Every time I come down here, there's a lot of people here now, and it's very much no filming. Selfie. I guess it's not technically a selfie if someone else is taking it. Yeah, I won't film that guy. There's a guy here who sells his art. So that's kind of like art gallery rules. You don't film the thing they're trying to sell. It's like that devalues it or something. Or it's not about. It's funny, like books and things like that, and copyright is not about maximizing the number of people who see something and who can get value from something. It's to funnel the benefit of that to the author. It's just seems like a fact, not an opinion.
It's gonna change.
I like this saying, thinking about it lately. It's still don't like that they don't have the gate back up, but not many people there. But I heard this saying used for like computer science, but also like biology. Like a saying is like a system is what it does, not like what it's supposed to do or what you say it does. Like drawing the distinction between I guess intention and the reality of the thing. So I guess I sort of think about that when walking around here, thinking about like there's a lot of statements about what people intend for it to do. Simple messages communicate better, so it seems like some of the messages are hard to understand in specific senses, but it's interesting to think about, like, what does this do? Because this is like a big system. It seems like there's some rejection of leadership, but there's leadership happening, as you saw back there. That's a social structure, and it seems like people have a rank, right? Like certain people go to the front of the crowd, and it seems like a combination of identities is also sort of additive, like Black trans lives matter as an additive type of thing. So that's a higher rank if you just look at what it does and like how the crowd acts and positioning people to give their opinions and speeches and things. Or black women is another one. The additive combination of identities. I had a pretty good rant there, but I think the camera may have cut it off. If I don't stop and start recording every 15 minutes, it'll just stop it, and it's kind of hard to see the error. I think that's a file size limit due to the file system on the Android phone. probably some like 31-bit address or something. Seems like it's around 2 gigs, so yeah, I know that. I'm a nerd. Yeah, it's becoming a big issue to film down there. Not a big issue. I don't want to overplay. Oh, okay, yeah. I think, I don't know. My inclination is to like, yeah, it's a big issue. It's a big issue to film there. So yeah, I got linked up to this, I don't know what it was, like a TikTok or something, where it's there's a guy, so maybe I just set this somewhere and then talk somewhere nice. Is that bar in the way? Let's see, yeah, bar's a little in the way. Don't want to risk dropping it. Whatever, I'll walk and talk. So my friend linked me to this TikTok where it's showing, well, one of the guys, it was actually in front of the police station over there, like, they were, because it's like there's no police around and there's mentally ill people around, and it seems like a lot of the stuff over there is maybe triggering some people to act in certain ways. But they were kind of subduing a guy, and this guy was just standing there filming, and then they're shouting at him, like, guy shouts at his friends, you know, oh, stop, 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 like what they're doing to this guy, which is just kind of restraining him. He's like on the ground and they're sort of pinning him. I didn't even think about that, but I guess that also is sort of triggering in a way. Yeah, they're saying like stop filming. So they told the guy to stop filming. He didn't. He just kind of kept on. But it's just a weird thing how there's no police there, and people are taking over some of the functions that the police would be filling. Where if there's, you know, someone who's a little like mentally ill or someone causing trouble or disrupting in a way that's not reasonable, like interrupting a speech or something like that, I've seen both of those situations. Then you get the medics. The medics, it's kind of a misnomer now. So the medics seem to be, it seems like there's security and there's medics, but there's also like, the medics are also acting as security. But yeah, so it's like the medics don't want to be filmed, and there's this idea that their employees will fire them if they see their faces on a video. And I've just never seen that happen. Like I guess I just gotta Google it and see if there's stories out there about that. Because the only stories I saw that people linked me up to were like showing a picture of a girl like holding some kind of flammable fire starting canister thing and setting fire to a police car, and the story was about, oh yeah, she got arrested. It's like, okay, I've seen that, but that's not a protester by the definition, by the sort of the common accepted meaning of that word down there, where over there in the CHOP it's like protester implies peaceful. That's how that word has been defined, which I mean, that's probably the right definition, because it's like, I mean, that's kind of like, that's one of the features of this country, is like, hey, you're allowed to protest as long as you're peaceful. I forget the exact wording of the Constitution, you know. Look that up. I'm pretty sure it's pretty easy to find. But yeah, like the field today, where all the volunteers were around there. Seems like the average age is pretty young for the who people would call the white allies. It seems like that would be the common meaning of like I think if that would be like a commonly accepted meaning of that term and that usage, is to call the people who are in the rectangle around the field, around the area for blacks only, to be white allies. at least maybe, I mean, I don't know if there was like a non-white person in the square, but and people who want to misunderstand my point will. It's kind of hard to be precise. I'm trying to be precise though. I'm just trying to relay like what I saw. But I mean, yeah, this day was just unlike. It had like when the there were some weird people at that speech by the police station. They were like all dressed in black, like really dressed in black, like nothing was non-black, and they had like ski masks on, and then they had goggles on. That was the group that started removing the barrier. It seemed like people didn't really notice, so until they got the barrier, until they tilted the chain link fence piece up, and then people started to notice, and then they started removing the plywood from the windows, and then people really started to notice, and then they kind of declared their intention to break into the police station. I remember one of those people I was just describing, I don't quite know the term for that. It seemed like the consensus of the crowd, at least, was to separate those people from the group eventually. But one of those guys said I can't remember the exact thing. I'm pretty sure I got it on video, but he's like something about you remember no justice, but you forgot no peace. And it seemed like that got people really riled up. But I feel like, because this is like a complex situation. There's like lots of pieces. There's good pieces, there's bad pieces. Despite people wanting it to be good, there are some bad people there, but it seems like the overwhelming goodness of it has sort of prevailed in that situation, because like I'm so glad that they did not, that the crowd, the consensus, and the will that was enforced and seemed to be that was a terrible idea. What did the one guy say? There was this one speaker, older black guy, I remember, because he said 54 years young. This guy really resonated with the crowd, and what did he say? It was like, I got this all on video too. Stressful situation, you forget things. I mean, I usually remember everything, word for word. He used a non-English word though that's a play on words, something about redonkulous. Yeah, he used the word redonkulous, and he said something about there being donkey in there. Donkey is an ass, and then saying these people are being redonkulous, these people are being asses, He's kind of saying, he's kind of identifying those people and that action as stupid, and it seemed like that resonated with the crowd. And then and that kind of put an end to it. And then the reaction of people toward the cameras was interesting. I'm gonna have to I don't know if I'm remembering things incorrectly, but the nice thing is that I got everything taped, so if I don't remember anything correctly that I'm describing from memory, it's just gonna be in the video. But yeah, so I was filming the whole time. People were cool with it. I thought it was going to be an issue, but it didn't seem like it was an issue. But it immediately became an issue when that fight broke out. And what I did notice is that I was filming the whole time, but as soon as that happened, a bunch of people immediately pulled out their cameras, which actually sort of worked in my favor, because when everyone's filming, it's not really a problem that everyone's filming, because you can't really control that. But when it's one guy walking along the field or something, so yeah, it's unimaginable to me that, so I think there's this kind of imprecision in the way people are thinking about the no filming thing, like the medics, because the medics seems like they're predominantly young, so, and it's Capitol Hill, and a lot of them are camped out permanently. The guys that are definitely not employed, because how could you be? There's not even good internet there. But there's this kind of paranoia about, I mean, there's that, but I mean, it's definitely, I guess I'm thinking about like there's a surge in people late in the day when it's sort of past work hours, because the people who get off work come and participate in that, and it seems like there's a paranoia about those people that they would be fired for participating in the protest. But that, I just don't see how that could happen, really. Like, you can't fire someone for exercising their constitutional, it's like the very first thing it says in the Constitution, that you're allowed to do that. They're all claiming they're peaceful, and what I've observed is that they are pretty much all peaceful, and if one of them turns out not to be, it seems like the consensus of the crowd is like, okay, yeah, that guy is not a protester, so people will talk to him, and then he'll kind of get separated off. Oh yeah, what I think I was getting to a very long way was the reaction to the filming was first stop filming, but then I kept filming, and it seemed like things were just too hectic and too many people pulled their phones out for me to matter. But after that, there was a guy saying, "Go film over there, go film the guys who were the instigators." It's a very weird thing. It was like the crowd wasn't sure, and it seemed like the speeches and the speakers getting up to talk about the situation were not being precise. So, like, I don't feel like the crowd was decided on what to do there. And it seems like it went the right way, because there were people in the crowd with some leadership understanding, people with some influence. Some of them were articulate, some of them were not. I think it seemed like a couple people with leadership, but only a few of them were articulate. So the very articulate people, who I think kind of concluded the situation in a positive way, which was not breaking into the police station, was the 54 years young black guy, certainly, and also the girl who stood up on the barrier toward the end and had the megaphone. She was also the girl that sorted the crowd by race, which was interesting. Having all the black people come to the front and all the white people go to the back. So that's just the thoughts racing through my head about that. The other thing I was thinking about, which is kind of weird, like, I don't know who's watching this video. Like, I feel kind of like I'm just the disembodied voice. Like, that's what I'm going for anyways. I think back on it, and I state opinions about certain things. But I mean, I guess the specifics I can think about that I had opinions on were like the tax Amazon. It seems like that's one of those issues that's sort of along for the ride in this thing, but it's not the primary thing. That Kasama Sawant, she certainly resonates with the crowd. She's got a very she's got leadership quality. She's articulate enough. I think sometimes she uses words in combinations which don't make sense, or she says things which are like factually incorrect. But it's not like she never says anything that, you know. Cattle isn't. You can't dismiss what people say on superficial grounds. You have to have some sort of understanding. But I mean, maybe. So I need to go Google Juneteenth, because yeah, I only heard about that term recently. I think I heard about it at work, and then I didn't know I had today off. Glad I had today off though. I got to capture some interesting stuff. So yeah, My file's about to be up, and I still feel like I've got some rant left in me. Oh, I want to rant about. Yeah, so I consider it to be a negative thing that there's a common part where people don't want filming to happen. There's different types of filming, or maybe it's not the filming, maybe it's the editing, because there's some ridiculous bullshit online that it's forcing a I'm not endorsing like Noam Chomsky ideas, but this idea in term is from him. He called it concision, and he had like, he's this intellectual guy, political guy. He's also I know about him from school because he's a linguist, and also that the linguist part has some overlap with computer science, which is my bag. But yeah, he was using this idea of concision, where like he would get offered interviews on common news programs, and there'd be like, okay, yeah, you got like two-minute segments to express your idea, and he was making the simple point that, okay, well, some ideas don't fit in a 2-minute segment, so he just wouldn't do those interviews. It does seem to be an issue, but so I was ranting about that because it seems like that's what the media is doing. They're getting their sound bite and their clip of something extreme happening, which is some total outlier event. Like, I definitely saw an outlier event today, like the kind of the violence breaking out in front of the police station. That was an outlier. I haven't seen anything like that since the police left. It got resolved peacefully, and I hope that type of thing just does not occur again. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, but one nice thing about like YouTube, it's like they don't give a shit if I upload 2-hour videos. I don't think many people watch them, but so I can capture like full speeches, like long form ideas that people are having, and it's like there's a long form ideas, but there's common threads which run through those ideas. But even some of those common threads, which are obvious from me spending time down here, are not portrayed in some of the media. Those are kind of like interesting to think about what those common threads are, and just kind of get those out there. I mean, okay, here's a common thread. Protesters are peaceful. That term has gained that meaning. If you're a protester, that implies peaceful, and you're allowed to do that. And then the discussion is about whether or not someone is a protester, and that was the whole crux of the police station thing today. Is I don't think people knew if those guys were protesters or not. I think in the end it was decided they weren't, and I don't think people. I think I understand the implications of if the police station were broken into. I think the implication would be bad. Like I failed to predict so many things and understand what's going to happen in so many ways, but the police station is taken over. It's I'm assuming that the police are coming back and ending it because the criteria for so I feel like there's this unaccepted criteria. It's got to be some political issue. Like it seems like the criteria by which CHOP is allowed to continue to exist is that it remain peaceful, and there's going to be small incidents, and I think people understand that because there's like mentally ill people. But then if the police station got taken over, windows got smashed, or whatever happened, or worst case they burned it, which would be crazy, that's not a small thing. That can be taken as evidence of the function of the thing being not peaceful, which at that point it seems like if I'm being empathetic, if I'm like thinking in the shoes of the police and the mayor and all those government people, like I think the reaction to something like the police station getting taken over and is to bring the police in. I don't know that for sure, but I suspect that would be the thinking. A lot of ideas. I don't know, like so I was feeling like things were totally safe down there, and I think everyone was thinking that. Like, so when that fight broke out, a lady said, better get your kids out of here, they've got guns out. So yeah, so I've changed my opinion. I would check it out with an open mind. I would not bring your kids here. That wouldn't have been my recommendation before today, but today was not stable. Like, it didn't topple over, it didn't end, and I think if the police station had been breached, that would have been the start of the end. It didn't end, and that was just a bizarre scene about, it looked like there were speeches, and then there was a dance party in the middle of with all the black people in the middle of the square with the white allies around them. I'm fine with dance parties though, but I can understand the pushback on the Coachella comparisons. But people need an outlet, and there's been some ridiculous policy around COVID which has been removing outlets. Like, they tried to close that park over there a little while back. They put up signs. This was before the protests were there, but well into the COVID stuff. They were saying park closed after 8, as if COVID takes the night off. Or no, COVID comes out at night, which actually that could be the case, right? Because UV rays, I don't think that's been established, but UV rays could prevent the transmission of COVID outdoors as a hypothesis. I don't know if that's true or not. I heard the idea. It's interesting. All right. Big rant. I don't know if I want to go back there tonight. I'm not feeling that. Yeah, that was the I think it was all that police station thing. The police station thing triggered that old energy I felt that was present when the protest was going on. I did not I didn't think that was there anymore, but it still is. Alright, that's it for me. I think I'm gonna go get another one of those beers, go home, do some eating. Yeah, it's pretty thought-provoking, provoking lots of thoughts in me anyways. Alright, that's it.